Hey there, folks. Foggy here. Welcome to day 170 of my year of solo board gaming, considered by many to be ill-advised and stupid. And we have a huge table hog of a game. This is Dinosaur World, not Dinosaur Island or Dinosaur Island Raw and Right, but Dinosaur World. And this game is huge. We are set up for solo play, and I'm going to take you through the setup because I think it's really helpful to actually see how to set this up. And specifically where to put things. First of all, I'm using an ice cube tray to hold a lot of the little odds and ends here because I find it really helpful. You've got these little extra things on the victory track, which honestly you could just keep over here if you wanted to. You've got these for your security track. You've got these for the threat track. There's a bunch of little boredom tokens over here, which are kind of a pain in the ass, to say the least. There's also an extra little thing in here that you can ignore. You got your currency here, and you got your deaths here. And then these are algae for one of the expansions, which we're not going to do on this first game, but we will use at some point. In addition, I've got all the workers here, just in one great big pile, plus the worker database deck of cards. I've got my assistants over here. Now for solo mode, you're going to be drawing two of these, and then I like to put them, I find like right here is a good place to put them. You've got your player board over here. This keeps track of how many DNA you have, what your threat level is, what your security level is, and your Jeep level, because it's important to keep the Jeep going. When setting this up, you're going to take your little icons here, your little Jeep bonus icons, and just put them up here on top. You'll pick one to put here, but we'll get to that in a bit. You also have some objective vote tokens that you can just ignore. You don't need them for the solo game at all. You'll set each of the basic DNA, the yellow, red, and blue. You'll set those to 2 each. You'll set the advanced DNA, the teal, purple, orange. I guess green, purple, orange would make more sense. You'll set those to 1. You'll set your threat level to 0 and your security level to 0, and then your Jeep level to this initial 2 here. There are 5 of these little arrow icons that are really difficult to keep track of, and in fact, I lost one of these very early on. And had to basically get down on the floor and found it like all the way back there somewhere, which was just a little insane. And you'll put one of these on each of the hexagons that say 3, 4, and 5. You'll start off with 2, so you don't need to worry about that. You'll just get that automatically. In addition, you're going to pick one of your bonus icons, and you're going to put it here to start off with, and you'll get that bonus every round. So it's something that you probably want to get every round. You could go worker. I think worker actually might make a little bit more sense than going with the 2 currency, but I'm going to go for the 2 currency. You'll also get 8 currency to start off with, just simply because you're the first player. You're setting this up as if it were a 2-player game, so that's something to keep in mind. And that will actually affect the worker database a little bit later. So we've got our currency. We're going to go ahead and select our two people that will be helping us out as well. We've got the HR manager and the mechanic. Now each of these cards, I'm going to show you the other ones, each of these cards you can put a worker on. In this case it has to be a yellow worker. In this case it could be anything. In this case it could be, I think, any green player, and over here any blue player. And what this does, for the mechanic it has to be purple, and for the HR manager it can be anything. So what each of these cards do is for every worker placed there, you get a bonus, but you don't reset the worker, so it's a limited bonus. So twice during the game, for the scientist, for example, you can take an advanced DNA and convert it to 4 basic DNA. Over here, you can, for one worker, you can take 2 escaped dinosaurs, which we'll get to, return them to their paddocks and gain +2 excitement. For the architect, you basically put a worker there and you get a free building. And you can only do that once, so that's it. You'll also notice that there's some point values down here on the bottom. If at the end of the game you've not used them at all, so for example, if on this Dino Wrangler you've not used it at any time, you get 5 bonus points. If you use it once, you don't get those points. So if you're going to use something, use it completely. Don't mess around. We'll go ahead and put these off to the side. And again, this is a table hog, so it's difficult to find spaces to put everything. You'll then take one of these little boards here that are sort of like ridged. That looks like a little crown. Look at that. Crown me. Woohoo. And you'll put it like that. I find it's helpful to have it actually a little bit down from your player board, because you're going to be putting these hexagons out and they can go anywhere, so you want to leave yourself some space to build your park out. We'll go ahead and move these as well. Those. You'll take a welcome center. Important to note that it's a welcome center, not a park entrance. Park entrance comes up later. You'll want welcome center, and you'll want to put it right in the center there, along with your Jeep and 2 of the arrows. All right. You'll then set up the boards here. Now for this board, it is the special buildings board, and I find it's a good place to just keep the tokens that you'll need for the escaped dinosaurs, which again we'll get to later. And over here, you're going to take all of the special building tiles, which there's a lot. They are organized by A. There are the A's. Here are the B's. And then here are the C's. So there's 3 different types of buildings. There's A, B, and C. What you'll do is you'll take the C's, you'll shuffle them up, which I'm shuffling them up even though I've yet to have a game where I actually get to play these. Mostly because I've just been trying out the game. I haven't actually done a complete game yet, so trying to actually get used to the mechanics before I actually do one of these recordings. What a novel concept. Same with the B's, and the B's will go on top of the C's. And then finally, you'll take the A's and you'll do the same thing. You'll shuffle them up a little bit. You'll deal out 4 of the cards on top. And you'll sort of go in this order. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but it does make a little bit of a difference. So there's the casino, there's the incubator, there's the Triceratops, ring toss, and then there's the DNA ATM. Plus you'll draw 2 additional tiles on top for your own park, and you'll get to choose one of these, and we'll make that decision based on what comes up in the game. So I'm going to put these off to the side for the moment while we set up the rest of the game. In the center board here, these are the attractions. Now you can only have 1 of each type of building. You can't have multiple restaurants or roller coasters or merchandise or security. So pretty much I just put out 1 of these each, and the rest go off to the side. And then once I've drawn something from there, I know I can't get another one of it because there's nothing left. Like if I take this restaurant, boom, it's gone. So, but these will go here, 1 of each. And just to be clear, when I say table hog, you do not need this much space for these 4 tiles. You just don't. You could have these 4 tiles off into a space and be like, all right, so I'm going to go get an attraction this time around. That's neither here nor there. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Finally, you're going to take all of the dinosaurs that you have for the game, for the base edition, and there's 3 different types. There's carnivores, there's small carnivores, large carnivores, and herbivores. Herbivores are the green, small carnivores are the purple, and large are the red. And they roughly are equivalent in terms, like they're escalating in terms of excitement and danger. So the red ones are more dangerous than the purple ones, and the purple ones are more dangerous than the green ones. You'll shuffle up these tiles, and you'll deal out 3 here. And again, we're going to do this in roughly the same way. There's a path to these tiles, as you'll see here. All right, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to flip that over, and then we're going to deal out 2 to ourselves. So we'll have Stegosaurus and Spinosaurus to work with at the start. So I'm going to put these in a little pile here because we're not going to need these yet. You'll want to have the danger dice at the ready. These danger dice will be needed for when the paddocks need to get rolled. In addition, you're going to want a bag with all the other DNA dice in it. So if I can show you these. These DNA dice may seem familiar from the other game, but these are just DNA. They do not have attractions or security or anything like that on it. There's no threats on these. These are just simply for DNA purposes. So those will go in this nice cloth bag with the Dinosaur World logo on it. That is, look how huge this is. This is huge. There's that many dice in there. The Role Player Adventures one was like this big and had 36 dice in it. I'm just saying. I get it's called Dinosaur World. I get that they are trying to go for big. You went too big. All right, and now we're going to go over to the player public board, I think it's called. And you can put one up here for turn order. It doesn't really matter. You're not actually playing up against anybody. There's very little that the AI actually does against you. The biggest thing is that the AI will get deaths each round based on the rolls of these dice, and that's it. They don't take cards away from you. They don't interfere with your. They don't make it so that you can't get something. They're basically doing very little to thwart you in any way, shape, or form. You'll set your excitement level to 0, and you'll set your victory point 0 to level to 0, and the round up here for that. Then you'll take your AI deck. That's these ones with the AI on the back. These cards serve two purposes. One is that they determine the what happens each round at the start of each round. Plus, they'll also give you the objectives. You'll deal out a total of 8 objectives, and you get to keep 5 or more of them. And the reason that that's important is that any objective that you do not complete, you will lose 10 points. That's pretty huge. And it's really important that you keep that in mind when you are picking objectives. You want to look at objectives that you think will work well together, that you'll be able to reasonably complete, and then get rid of the rest. I don't think it really matters too much the other stuff that's on it. I don't think there are some things that you can take into account there. I'm just checking something real quick here. Yeah, okay. Just checking something real quick. A question I had earlier that I wanted to make sure I answered for myself. So let me show you what's on these cards. This AI card, for example, when you flip it over, it's going to have a little yellow hexagon, and that yellow hexagon tells you in what direction escaped dinosaurs move. Each of these little things here have paddocks on them. They have space for 4 dinosaurs, and there's a whole bunch of dinosaurs that come with the game. That honestly, like, is it really going to matter if I put the wrong dinosaur there as long as it's a red? It does help understand which dinosaur goes in which cage, but there's a lot of dinosaurs in this game. But if one is escaped, and let's say is over here, then this will tell you what direction it goes in if there's a tile there. There's no tile here, so that's really not going to matter. These other 2 arrows are little red arrows. This will tell you that for each dinosaur paddock, the one that has a dinosaur on it, if there is a tile in that direction, in this case there is for this first one, this dinosaur would then run off, the rightmost dinosaur would run off in this way, and then you take another player's color token, a different color token, and put that in the spot that it was in. So if this were down here, on the other hand, and we had Pandasaurus headquarters down here, then even though there's one that's not here, you can't go that way. You can go this way, so this dinosaur would head off this way. And it's always the rightmost dinosaur. So pardon the fact that these are different colors and the wrong dinosaurs altogether. If this were the setup here, then you would take this dinosaur here, and this would be the one that you'd check to see if it moved first. You wouldn't do the one on the left, you'd have to do the one on the right. And that's it. And you do want to make sure that you have the right dinosaur in there. There's never a point where you're going to put a dinosaur that doesn't, a non-irritator dinosaur in a irritator paddock. It's always going to be the dinosaur that matches that. Over here, you'll have the number of DNI dice to roll. So it's always, I think pretty much always going to be a number that's either 3 or 4. I've never seen it be anything other than those 2. So you'll take 3 or 4 dice, you'll roll them, and you'll put them here at the start of the round. Then this will tell you how many things that you're getting rid of at the end of this. So for example, this says 4 here. That means all 4 of these are going to go away, and you're going to replace them at the end of the round. Over here, all 3 of these are going to disappear, and they'll be gone at the end of the round. If the number is higher, like let's say this were 5, then you would get rid of these 4 and the top one of the deck, and all of those would go. And if it were 3, you would take these first 3 and move this one all the way to the front. So these basically slide forward along the path. These slide forward on the path. But a lot of these, I think pretty much almost all of them, are going to have like pretty high numbers. That's 5 and 2, for example, 5 and 3, 5 and 4, 4 and 2, 4 and 3, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. And so you get to see that, you know, pretty much you're clearing the paddocks each time, and you're clearing the special buildings. Don't count on a building still being available the next round, is the important thing to understand. And I apologize if it's a little bit difficult to hear me. I'm trying to talk as loudly as I can, but I have to have the mic off to the side maybe I can put the mic over here. Let's try this. Put the mic over by my coffee. Really get a nice loud slurp going there. All right, so, but the other side of this are the objectives. Now, these objectives tell you what you'll need to have in order to claim it, and you'll get that many victory points. Plus, if you claim it on this round or earlier, this says round 3 plus 4 points, you'll get some extra points. So if I had, for example, this one out, and I managed to get 10 tiles other than the Welcome Center Park entrance, then I would get 7 points. If I did that in the first 4 rounds, I would get 10 points. But if I did it in the 5th round, I would just get the 7. And if I don't complete it at all, I lose 10 points at the end of the game. So again, you want to make sure that your objectives over here are somewhat synchronized. You want to make sure that they work together well. You're not trying to shoot the moon here. You don't have to go for every single objective that you can. And to some extent, you may want to note what is on the other side of it. But I find that that's really not that helpful. So let's go ahead and deal out some objectives. So we're going to deal out these, and we'll just put them right here for now, and then we'll move them. All right, so objective 1 is, this objective is 9 excitement at the end of the round. Now, the excitement resets each round. So once you get to, like, let's say you get up to 7 at the end of the round, you'll move it back down to 0. So you have to get that 9 excitement all in one round, which is can be a little bit difficult. Over here, you have to have 5 security. I should probably do these in order, sorry. This is one of each type of attraction. So you have to have all 4 of these. These 3 are not that hard to get. They're like 2 each. It's relatively cheap. It's the security one is actually the most expensive. It takes 8 to get that, and that's something to keep in mind. This requires 5 large carnivores. This requires 5 small carnivores. This requires 2 of each type of dinosaur. This requires 3 of each type of building except for the purples. There are science buildings, attraction, like green buildings. I'm not sure what the green stands for. And then security buildings, plus you have to have 5 security. Over here you have to have a security building, a science building, and a social building, plus an herbivore and small carnivore. That's actually not a difficult objective to get overall. This one is, you have to have a money building, a science building, a social building, and then 1 of each type of dinosaur, herbivore and a large carnivore. And then this is the 9 excitement one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 2 that require 5 different types of dinosaurs back. I'm going to put this one back as well. Those are going to be pretty difficult to get over the course of the game, without knowing what sort of animals we're going to try to specialize in. So I'm going to take these 5, which is not too shabby. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think this counts as a security building, so if I get that, it covers the security building there. But this is a little bit more synchronized. Essentially now I have to get 1 of each type of building, 1 of each type of dinosaur, and 5 security to get these objectives, and that has to be done by round 4. This has to be done by round 2. These have to be done by round 3. So these are going to be difficult to do in time. This is going to be difficult to do in round 2. Actually, I probably should have noticed that all of these have to be done with 1 exception by round 2. So I'm probably not going to get a lot of bonus points. So that was how to not pick objectives for this game. So something to keep in mind. All right, so we're going to set the objectives up over here, and I'm going to have to move my coffee off to the side because I'm not going to have enough room. And I think the mic the mic can stay there, I think. All right. So that, I think, is everything as far as setup goes. Now, you'll notice that I've got some piles up there at the top. You can barely see them. They're a little bit off screen. Those are the expansions that come with the game. There are 3 expansions total. There's a water pack, ice age pack, and a hybrid pack. And those are special expansions that we'll figure out after we get started here. The final thing that I get to do is finally place some of these. So this is Pandasaurus HQ. And I feel like this is a good one to go with. I'm not entirely sure how this one works, to be honest. It's a bit confusing because the setup on it is different than any of the other ones. There's also the prehistoric garden, which is nice because it would give me the security building that I need right away, but I'm going to get that anyway. And Pandasaurus doesn't count towards anything. This is one where for each yellow worker that you put here, you can choose a unique tile, and you'll get some extra for dinosaurs there. It's not great. I have a feeling that it would probably go off to the side here, and then we would visit it like maybe once, and that's it. Whereas the Stegosaurus, I feel like, would be a very good one to choose. And because there's only one excitement from the prehistoric garden, it would quickly become very boring to visit, and we'll explain a little bit about that as the game goes on. I do think I want to keep the Stegosaurus because it's going to be relatively easy to get Stegosaurus made. And I kind of like the idea of getting those knocked out. So we'll go ahead and make this a little discard pile up here. And again, the Pandasaurus, I kind of feel like that would be a good one to go with, but I think I need to know a little bit more about Pandasaurus HQ and what it does. So there's a whole lengthy thing in the back here that discusses a lot of the different things that are in the game. And I don't think I see Pandasaurus headquarters anywhere in here. Yay! Everything else is in here, but not the Pandasaurus HQ. That's good. Awesome. Okay, so let's figure this out. We've got 2 excitement minus whatever the boredom is, and you roll the green dice. Then you get 4 victory points and 1. What on earth is this card? I think I actually have to look this one up. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean for this to be the case. Part of me thinks I should just go for a different thing, but the setup of it is so different from the other. The way that this one is set up is different than the other tiles, and so that's why I have the question. Apparently this acts the same as the Triceratops ring toss tile. So that's good to know. That is actually out on the board, and I'm going to take a quick look at that and see if that is in here. There's a lot to try to cover in this. So apparently this is... On this one, you can fill this dinosaur paddock, that's what this is right here, with a very specific dinosaur. This is the Pandasaurus, and it requires an orange, a red, and a blue. And that will go in here. And when you do that, you'll automatically get 1 uptick on the danger track. When you visit this tile, you will go ahead and get 1 danger. You'll get 2 excitement minus boredom. Plus you'll roll the green threat dice, and then you'll get 4 victory points and 1 uptick on the danger track every time that you visit the tile. So that is something to keep in mind. Probably just want to visit it once. But that also does mean that we would get our green dinosaur from it. So I think, whereas I was going to get rid of this and keep the Stegosaurus, I think I actually want to keep the Pandasaurus and the Spinosaurus. So we're going to get rid of the prehistoric garden, and we're going to get rid of the Stegosaurus paddock. Okay, sorry. Probably a lot more information than I needed to go over. We're going to put the Spinosaurus over here, and we're going to put the Pandasaurus over here. Actually, no, we're going to reverse this. Now, paddocks technically cannot be next to each other, but I don't think this counts as a paddock. So we'll do that. All right, so now we can begin the game. We're all done with setup. That was a lot of setup. We start, and I'm going to keep a handy, there are a bunch of handy sheets here to help you out with the game. Actually keep a couple of them right here. We've got what the order is. We've got end game scoring, which we don't need to worry about. We've got private actions and public actions. and then that's pretty much it. But it's really helpful to actually just keep these nearby so that you have some idea of what everything is. Now in the solo game, the first thing you do is actually draw this. We don't have to worry about escaping dinosaurs because there are no escape dinosaurs on the plate thing yet. But we do get to roll 3 DNA dice and put those out. So let's go ahead and pull these. And I'm not going to use my dice tray for this, so I apologize if this is going to sound loud. Especially since apparently I've got the mic right there. That's a good one. That's got 3 of the blues on it. That would be very helpful. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, it would be helpful because the Spinosaurus requires, the first one requires two blues, which is a lot. The Spinosaurus requires a lot overall. The next thing you're going to do, the first actual part of the round is to hire some workers. Now, in the 2-player game, you draw 3 of these cards and you choose one. It doesn't specifically say that you do this for the solo mode, but I'm assuming that this is the case. We're going to pull these and take a look at what we've got for workers. Now, what I'm thinking, so the mechanic is going to give us +1 coin and then again a benefit from 1 unlocked Jeep bonus, which is nice. I'm not entirely sure I need to go for that. I kind of want to get some Jeep stuff done quickly though. It's helpful to have a lengthier one right at the start. It's also helpful to get some buildings out, which is the other thing that you want to consider. And we'll go over what each of these will require. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with this one. We're going to start with this one. This one's got all of them, all of the different colors on it. Plus, it's got 4 whites. All of them have 4 whites on it. So that's something else to keep in mind, is that you'll never have a situation where there's not 4 whites on here. But because we've got the HR, we can actually convert one of those whites into one of those seasonal workers into 2 specific workers. And the workers here are basically, the purples are mechanics, the greens are like the park rangers, the blues are the scientists, the yellows are security, and then the whites are seasonal workers. And after playing so many Hadrian's Wall, it's just nice that the purple's not slaves. One of the unsavory aspects of that game, to say the least. All right, so now you're going to take public actions. Now, public actions, there are a couple different types of public actions here. We're going to go over them. We can gather DNA, and we will definitely want to do that. I'm actually going to send a scientist right now to go get some DNA because I can see a bunch of blues there that I want to get. So for this, you'll either send 1 worker of any type to go get one of these dice. In fact, you can send 1 to 3 workers. And if I were to send, say, 3 workers and get this blue one that has 3 blues on it, I would get 9 of those. You'll basically get to repeat the what's on this face that many times. It's also a huge amount of workers to commit towards that, and you don't really want to do that. However, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to commit 1 blue here, and what I'm going to do is be able to get this dice right now to get myself 3 blues, and that's going to pump me all the way up to 5. In addition, because I use the scientist actually gets a bonus. Certain individuals will get bonuses if you use them in certain places. So, for example, the scientists over here, when I use them on this square, I will be able to then get an additional, I think an additional DNA of any type. I'm just going to double check that really quick. Yeah, you can gain whatever additional color you want. Now, because the Pandasaurus and the Spinosaurus both require orange, I'm going to give myself an extra orange over here. That way I can make both of these dinosaurs. Just sort of thinking ahead there a little bit. In addition, I want to go ahead and get some more paddocks. I want to get at least 1 more. I want to be able to get the purple one somewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and set up the Velociraptors. I'm going to get that one. Now that's going to require either 2 workers plus whatever the coinage is on it, or it's going to require a green worker. No matter what, I still have to pay that on top. So I'm going to pay the 2 there, get myself a Velociraptor. And paddocks cannot be adjacent, so the only place I can really put this one is down here. All right. I am also going to go ahead and get an attraction I'm going to start by getting the roller coaster because I feel like that's a good one to get. I'm going to have a lot of stuff next to it. So I'm going to put the roller coaster right here. I don't need a worker for that. I just need to pay the amount atop here. So as long as I've got the 2 here, 3 there, or the 8 here, I can just get it. I don't need to commit a worker to it. Over here, we've got a number of different types of, oh, and also when you take away a paddock, slide it up so you create that additional space. So looking at the different things over here. Now, the other thing I want to keep in mind is that I need one of each type of building, and I have nothing of any types. I kind of like the incubator. The incubator has a really neat aspect to it where you get to commit somebody there. However, if you use it more than twice, it starts to cost you excitement each time. So that's something else that you want to keep in mind. The DNA TM allows you to basically commit 1 green towards getting an extra 2 extra of any regular type, or if you want to lose 2 victory points, you can get 2 of any advanced type, which is interesting. I'm not sure I like that. I think what I want to do, because I actually want to make sure that I'm keeping some stuff here for other things. Let's do this. I'm going to commit one of these dudes here to a yellow and a purple. Get that right out of the way so we can get some stuff going here. We're going to commit 1 white over here. We are going to get the incubator, I think. And we're going to put this. I also want to start thinking about what is my first path going to look like, because I'll probably be able to go 3 spaces, but I won't be able to go more than that. And so what I'm thinking is that if I put the incubator down here, probably won't be getting it this time around. I'll be able to go this way. Let's do this down here, because I think I want the roller coaster to be something I hit each time I go around. I think the incubator makes sense over here. Now the incubator also, let's go ahead and spend, first of all, let's spend the 4 there. The incubator, basically, because there's this little lightning bolt with a 1 next to it, I get 1 victory point just simply for having that. In addition, I should be moving these forward. There is a resort there, which seems really kind of lousy. Seems kind of meh. Let's see. I think the last thing I'm going to do is commit this to get 1. Let's get 2 greens for this. Let's get that out of the way, right out of the way. And I think I'm done with public actions. I built a special building. I built and I committed a worker for that. I built an attraction, I built a dino paddock, and I gathered some DNA. Those are all 4 public actions. You cannot take any other public actions. We're now on to private actions. So private actions include DNA refinement, where basically you can take any combination of these, make a more advanced DNA. If you use a scientist for this, you also get a plus of any regular DNA. And you can do that up to 3 times. If you want, you can go do security. Now for security, you pay the amount of the next section up. So for this first one, I would have to pay 1 coin. For this one, I'd have to pay 2 coin. For this, 3. For this, 4. I'm going to go ahead and commit 2 of my security people, because each security person basically makes it 1 cheaper to do this. So this allows me to go right up to 2, and I haven't had to spend anything for that, which is a huge plus. We're also going to do the same thing with the Jeep. We're going to do 2 of these. And what that does is it allows me to go up to here, like that. And that means that I'm going to be able to go 3 instead of just 2. In addition, I'm also going to get one more bonus. Now the purples are 1 less on payment, and much like with security, you don't have to pay. You don't have to worry about paying anything. You have to pay whatever the next region is. So technically, this is 1 coin, because this first one was free. To get into this one, it's 2. The purple saves me 1, so it's 1. So I've just spent 1 more coin. Finally, I can take a green. I can do VC funding. If I put anybody over here in VC funding, it will be to get 3 coins to start off with. The next person gets 2, the next person gets 1. But if I use a green to do that, I will then get 1 extra coin. So this will give me 4 coin total to work with. And now I want to make some dinosaurs. So I do want to make sure that I can, trying to figure out again, how do I want to do this in a way that makes sense. I want to make a dinosaur here and here, and then this will be my path. So I'll need 1 more person here to activate the roller coaster. Doesn't really matter which one is which. I'm not going to get any benefit from doing any of these in particular. But we will go, I think, just to get this out of the way, because we're going to, again, these lose bonus, these get more boring the more you visit them, the more you activate them. So we're only really going to activate this once, I think. But this first one, we'll go ahead and use one of our regular dudes here. Oh, I forgot to get my bonus here. So for bonus, I can do a couple different things. I can get myself 1 advanced DNA. I can get myself 2 basic DNA. I can get myself some security, and I can get myself another person. And what I like about doing this is this is going to activate at the end of each round, and I kind of like the idea that this will help push me up in terms of security, because we're going to be making some dangerous dinosaurs. We're going to have to deal with that. We want to keep our deaths at a minimum. All right, so we've got our bonus there. We've got our extra security. That's gone up by 1. We're now going to make a dinosaur. We'll send our regular dude over here first. And that's going to take up 1 orange, 1 red, and 1 blue. And we get a special Pandasaurus, which, all right, so let's find it in here. This is a whole mess of different types of creatures, but it should be somewhere in this mess of creatures. And it should say on the back here, there is a handy guide, because they don't bother saying it on the thing. Nope, it's not here. Okay, so I think we might have to just figure this out by process of elimination. So those are Hadrosauruses. They do recommend that you set these up on the side, by the way, and that just seems to me like even more space that this is going to take up. We got our Triceratops. These are para-somethings. Those are Brontosaurus. Ankylosauruses are these purple ones. These are Stegosauruses. More Triceratops. We got an extra one for the thing. These are Pachycephalosauruses. There's another Triceratops one. I think there's 2 Triceratops rings in there. That's probably why. There's more Ankylosauruses. The reason that you don't see too many Ankylosauruses out is simply because I had already started playing this a little bit, and so I've got some loose ones flying around in here. So you can see there's another, there's another, there's another, there's another, and there's the other one. All right, so why am I missing? It's not going to be in there, it's not going to be in there, it's not going to be in there, it's not going to be in there. So I cannot find the Pandasaurus, which makes me wonder if it's in some other thing I did not look at. I think that's exactly what it is. Yep, I think I see it. Surprised. It's surprised it's a red, actually. I would have thought that was a blue. But this, I think, is going to be our Pandasaurus, because that looks Pandasaurus-like. There's also a special mosquito trapped in amber. That's your first player token, which, of course, if you're playing solo, you don't have to worry about. You're always the first player. Not always. Sometimes you're not the first player. Sometimes it moves around. All right, but there's our Pandasaurus. We're going to put that there. It's just kind of surprising to me that it's not a green. Like, does that make any sense to anybody whatsoever? Yeah, that's just crazy pants. The wrong color. All right. here, we're also going to make another dinosaur. We're going to send this dude over. And we're going to make one of these Spinosauruses. And we should probably put these back. We should not have these all like taking up a whole bunch of space here. All right. Spinosaurus is going to take 1 red. So that means we are out of red. It's going to take 2 blue. Now the starting cost is always up here. Also, we should have marked that up because there's a little tick mark here. We go up in terms of danger. So each of these has some additional DNA requirements. Some of them, like the Velociraptor, do not have any. That means that you can just make it for the base cost. But each one usually has some additional amount that you have to do. So we have 2 blue. We'll go down 2 more. We have 1 green. That'll wipe us out for green. And 1 orange. That'll wipe us out for orange. But then we get our Spinosaurus. Now the Spinosaurus, again, we have the handy book in the back here. The Spinosaurus is going to be purple with a bit of something on its back. So we can go ahead and just empty that out. And there's our Spinosaurus. Like that. And that'll go on there. All right, and for that we get 1 uptick in danger. And we also get 4 victory points. So those will happen right away. All right. Now with that having been done, I think we're actually done as far as moving around. We're going to go ahead and start our Jeep tour. This is the last part. We're done our private actions here. I think I've showed you each of these. We've done a little bit of each of these except for the DNA thing. We're holding on to our blue guy here because we're going to need to activate that roller coaster. And we could use this one more time on the HR manager. We've still got 2 slots there, but it's also just the first round. I think that might be jumping the gun a little bit. Good Lord, we've been recording. We've been recording for 40 minutes already. So it's a bit of a longer game than I thought it would be. According to this, it's 60 to 120 minutes. So I'm going to have to start moving quickly. So the last part of this is the Jeep phase. Now the Jeep always starts at the Welcome Center. After round 3, in rounds 4 and 5, it'll start at the Park Center, but we'll get to that. We're going to start here at the Welcome Center, and we're going to go 1 space here. And we'll use this, leave this little arrow here to indicate that that's the direction that we're going. And then we're also going to go this way and then this way. So this will help define our path as we go through. We hit the Pandasaurus over here. We're going to get 2 excitement to start off with. We're also going to have to roll the green die. No deaths, that's good. We're going to get 4 victory points, but we are going to have an uptick in danger. Then we're going to continue our Jeep tour to the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus is going to give us a whopping 3 excitement, and that's pretty awesome. We're going to get that 3 excitement, plus we do have to roll the red dice. And the red die is going to give us 2 deaths. Oh no, the Spinosaurus got out and bit John and Mary, and they were a newly married couple that just recently met, and they came to our park and we killed them. That's not good. Bad people. All right, so that's unfortunate, but we do get the 3 excitement from that, which is honestly pretty exciting. And then finally, we're going to go to the roller coaster, and we are going to commit a person to this so that we can activate it. And this is going to give us +1 for every tile around. So there are 4 extra tiles here, so we're going to get 1 + 4. That'll give us 5. That puts us at 10. So that is amazing that we got that much excitement out of a roller coaster. Now we're going to take boredom tokens. This is the first time that we visited each of these, so we'll take these ones and we'll put them in the little spot with the number sign. And what that means is this is now slightly more boring. Now with the Pandasaurus, we can't really do anything about the excitement there. We'll get 1 excitement the next time we go there, and then 0 excitement, and then we have to start paying for it, paying people to go there. This is now very unexciting. However, we can commit a worker there to make it more exciting based on the number of tokens around it. So already this is going to stay pretty exciting, but will quickly wane over time. And that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna do our reset. First, we're gonna check to see what objectives we've met. We don't have a security place, so we haven't met that one. We still don't have all 4 of those, so we're out there. We don't have a security there. We do have 9 excitement, so we've met our first objective. So we're going to get 5 points for this, plus because we did it before the end of round 2, we're going to get another 5 victory points. So we're already at 19 victory points, and we can flip this one over. This one's now met. Finally, we need 1 green, 1 science, 1 social, and then we need 1 of each, 1 green and 1 red dinosaur. And unfortunately, we're not there yet. We're closer because we've got the blue. We've got the right dinosaurs for this one. We just need a social and a social and a money to get that one. But that's going to go off to the side there, so we're done there. Now we're going to start the cleanup phase, and the cleanup phase is really just a lot of fun. All right, let's do this. Player income, reset the Jeeple. So that's going to go back here, and we're going to take all the little arrows that we put out. And we get each of these bonuses. So we're going to go up 1 in terms of security, plus we're going to get 2 extra VP, 2 extra money. That's awesome. Then we gain our income from our excitement. We managed to get 10 excitement. That's going to give us another 9 in terms of income. I can see why the solo videos I've seen other people do are broken up into like multiple videos, and I may do that. I've never said that these are going to be just one video, so this might be round 1, and then I'll do like 4 more videos for the remaining rounds, because this is already a pretty lengthy video. But that is that first one there. And then we return workers to supplies. So we put a lot of workers out. We put a bunch of workers here, they're over here, put some back here, put some back here, put these. The ones we put on our assistant, we do not do anything with. Those stay there, those are permanent. Evaluate threat. So if our threat level were higher than a security, we'd get 1 death for every threat above it. So if we were at 5 and this were at 4, we would have 1 death. That would be bad. In addition, during the solo game, you're going to roll these 3 dice. That will determine the number of deaths that our opponent had. Our opponent had 2 deaths as well. It was a pretty tragic thing. Just a lot of people dying going to check out dinosaurs. All right, we'll put these up here. There were a pair of candle makers. They were looking for new inspirations for candles. They were going to come out with this whole dinosaur candle line. And instead of being able to go back home and take their wonderful love of dinosaurs and convert them into candles, the dinosaurs snuffed out their wicks. And that's it for the candle makers. Sebastian and Oliver. R.I.P. Sebastian and Oliver. Okay, clean up Central Islands. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to return the dice to the bag. Also, we're going to discard buildings. Now, we discard buildings based on this as opposed to the cleanup card. So we're going to get rid of 4 of these tiles. And as I mentioned before, a lot of times you're pretty much just clearing them. If it said 5, then we would clear out even more. And then we'll put new ones down. And as noted, we're going to put them down, sort of filling in from this side to the back. Then we're going to get rid of 3 paddocks, which, as noted, all of the paddocks. And we're going to fill it in from this side and down this way. Now, chances are we're probably not going to put any other paddocks in right away. Probably going to focus on buildings, but that's just me. Finally, we're going to clean up the public board notice. Now, this is basically, you're going to reset your excitement. You're going to reestablish the turn order based on victory points, but that's not applicable here. And you're going to advance the round marker. Now, when you get down to here, when you go from 3 to 4, you're going to also flip over this welcome center and make it a park center, but we'll get to that in a bit. And I think for now, we're going to do one more round for this video, and then I think I'm going to do a separate video for the remainder, and we'll take it from there. All right, so that is the new park entrance. That's done. We've done everything that we have to do as far as the solo play goes, and now we can start round 2. So round 2, we're going to start with our AI card again. Now this time, we have to worry about escapes, and we are going to have some escapes here, I think. So the yellow one indicates what direction the escaped dinosaurs go in. In this case, they don't. In this case, each paddock, you're going to look at the arrows. And the first arrow is the one that we go with, and this is going to be the only one that applies here. But because both of these have a tile down, this dinosaur escapes and goes to the roller coaster, which is not good. And then we use this to indicate that it's escaped its paddock. The Pandasaurus escapes, goes to the welcome center, and we're going to use this to indicate that this has escaped as well. That's really not good. Then we're going to take 4 dice and we're going to roll those. Well, that was stupid. That was very stupid. So what just happened there is that I opened the bag up upside down, and that sound that you heard was the dice rolling, and the reason I'm getting faint is that I'm getting very far away from the microphone, but essentially all of the dice fell onto the floor. That was brilliant. So I now need to check to make sure that I have all the dice. So looks like I have 8 dice total. I think that is all of them. We're going to check our little equipment guide here. And number of DNA dice. Where is the DNA dice? Why am I not seeing the DNA dice? 9 DNA dice. I need a 9th one. So there is a 9th DNA dice that has escaped. And I kind of need to find it. So I'm thinking that this is a good as time as any to pause the video, and we'll come back in the next video. And again, I apologize, but I need to stop and find some dice. We'll be back in just a bit, and thank you for doing all the YouTube things, and we'll see you shortly.